on the Community Coffee New Orleans Saints radio network. Saints win, shutting out the Raiders 24-0. Bobby, this is about as good as you can play in the NFL. I mean, nothing's perfect, but this is about as perfect as you can get.
Well, I'm going to take the approach we want to know. Now, come next Monday night against the Ravens, we're going to try and be 2-0. Like, what happened in the past, that's water under the bridge. We all know the team had this capability, but you got to go do it week in and week out on the line, not in practice. You got to do it in the game. And that was about as dominant a performance as we've seen in a long time. But you know what, Christian? This happened before against the Raiders. I was part of it. Monday Night Football. And I told Christian, boy, if Lutz makes that field goal, it would have been the exact same score, 27-0. In 1991, Monday Night Football, this is right before Christmas, December the 16th of 91, we won 27-0 in the Superdome against the Raiders. Well, now we win 24-0. No, we've had the Raiders number, and that has not always been the case playing in New Orleans. If you look at it now, the black and gold, we're now 4-3-1. The very first time we played the Raiders, 1968, it was a tie. It was like 21-21. So we got the edge. We got the edge. It's not we won the rubber match. We 4-3-1. The black and gold against the silver and black in New Orleans. And this goes back to Tulane Stadium and the Superdome. And Christian, also, we're going to have to wait the next time we play for that rubber match. The all-time series is now 7-7-1. So we won 7 times. They won 7 and 1 tie. I mean, it just shows you how tough the NFL is. So when you have a convincing win like this, 24-0, it's not like I thought whoever got the ball last was going to win this game. I picked the Saints.
Over and under.
Yeah. I picked the Saints. And I said, if it goes over, I don't think that's going to bode well for the Saints. Remember I told you the pregame, I said, we need where we're at right now. I think we need the under. We need our defense to get their swagger. And like, Alvin Kamara said, the whole team to get the swagger back and kick butt. Well, I think a shutout is kicking butt. And Devontae
That was Wolfpack defense.
That was, yes. You want to howl, DeMario Davis? That was a Wolfpack defense. Now, you got to build upon that and do it a few times. I don't know if Devontae Adams ever got humble like this in the National Football League. Christian, I thought for sure he was going to have success like Jamar Chase and all did, like D. Hopkins had with the Cardinals because Lattimore wasn't playing. Boy, you got to give Paulson and Devo and Alante Taylor, boy, a lot of credit. He was targeted five times for 1 catch for 3 yards. I don't care if he was sick during the week. They made him better before the game. They give you a steroid shot. They have y'all. He might have been dealing with the flu or whatever he was dealing with. No, he just got dominated. And I guarantee you that has not happened to Devontae Adams. I'd have to check it.
It happened the last time when he was in the Packers uniform last year in a win over the Packers in the opener.
Oh, so we shut him down again.
Yeah.
Also, we've done that before. Also, Chris, because I know Devontae Adams, he's a stud, but he wasn't a stud today, to say the least. Now, if you look at it, I broke this down, A, B, and C. A, Barry, always talking about damn stats. Well, if you win in these areas, you're going to win. And a convincing win. I have an A, B, and C. Okay? Dennis Allen mentioned this. This is what coaches do and players who pay attention to detail. Like Andy Dalton. How about we feed Alvin Kamara? 10 targets. 10 targets, 9 catches, right under 100 yards. Listen, yards after the catch, you don't have to throw it a country mile. I mean, you just have to move the chains and score points. You have to understand how your team is structured. The one thing that we did, what did we do? We were +1. We went -1, -3 in the turnover margin. Well, I broke it down in 3 ways. You look outstanding on 3rd down. Okay, this is winning football. We now this is not faking the funk, because on 3rd down we came into the game, we were the 4th best 3rd down defense, only giving up 33%. Well, today the Raiders got 36%. They were 5 of 14. This is Drew Brees like. We were 58% on 3rd down, 7 of 12. So in other words, we're moving the chains and they ain't moving jack. I mean, they're not doing anything. So we were dominant, outstanding on third down. And then what you always say, can we run the ball and can you stop the run? Well, the bottom line, I think Jacobs is a stud. He was averaging basically 4.5 yards a carry, but when you're trying to play catch up, you can't run. But even when they ran the ball, they only had 13. They ran for 2.9 yards. So again, can you stop the run? Can you run the ball? They ran for 2.9 yards. Guess what we averaged? Basically 4.5 yards a carry on 32 attempts. Again, stop the run, run the ball. So defense, offensive team is third down. Run the ball, stop the run, and then the turnover margin. We +1. Now, we're still -9 for the season. I'm not even looking at that. I'm looking at us going far. Okay, we +1. I'm not even going to look at
the season started today.
Yeah, the season started today. We were disciplined without penalties. Only had 5 penalties for 27 yards. But as a fan, didn't you appreciate this? Even if you are a Raiders fan. The officials seemed like they were there, but they weren't really there. They called a total of 11 penalties. I don't know. It seemed like a good game. They called 6 against the Raiders, and they called 5 against the Saints. I think overall, I like this crew. You know, let's say we would have lost. I like a game where the referees aren't so much a part of it that you having to talk about them. I like to talk about them when they don't throw the flag a lot. So that was. And then another thing, Dennis Allen likes this, and not always the case. But basically, we had the ball 10 minutes more than they had it. All I know, usually, unless you're turning it over like pick 6 or scoop and score, if you don't have the ball, you can't score. We had the ball 10 minutes more than they did. Now, look at an individual play. I think Andy Dalton was about as efficient as you could be. This reminds me how I play, Christian. What the hell are you talking about yourself? Because I experienced this. I know what Andy Dalton's going to, because this is the kind of game I would have. 22 of 30, 229 yards. Not like
efficient.
Yeah, efficient. Now, you got to protect the football. A couple of touchdowns, no picks. He had a quarterback rating of 117.
Did he get sacked?
No, and 0 sacks. The ball's coming out. I'm going to get it to Alvin Kamara. You look at Alvin Kamara, 158 total yards from scrimmage. What I tell you, Alvin Kamara, to me, I don't want to wear him down. We need him to be able to roll if we turn this season around, which I think we will, like come December and January. That number, that to me, that's over and above what we really need. If Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry, everybody's back in the fold. He had 158 total yards from scrimmage. What I tell you, Christian, we need 125 to 130. If we're in that range with Alvin, then he's earning his money and he's doing his job. Look at Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill ran the ball. He threw one pass. I know it was only for 2 yards, and then receiving. He got targeted a couple of times, one catch. So Taysom Hill had 74 total yards. Now, the fans were demanding this. Excuse me. How about Rashid Shaheed? I mean, I don't know. He had 2 touches, 2 touchdowns. And I think the coaches realize, and, we have coaches shows and you communicate with them. The fans want this. I don't know. Well, why don't we give that cat the ball at least a handful of times, or at least half a dozen? Well, guess what, Christian? He had a handful. He had 5 touches. And if you count punt return and everything, 5 touches, he had 53 total yards. So you can see like Kamara, Hill, Shaheed. This is how we expected them to play from game 1. Not wait all of a sudden. What is like week 8 or like the 8th game? We said, man, this is the Saints team we were bragging about in the offseason and training camp and all. And so that's what we had. Now, defensively, okay, I can break down right quick. Look at defensively who showed up and earned their money, earned their draft status. Christian, we got to give 2 game balls to Peyton Turner. I don't know his chest. What somebody like Andrews Pete or Peyton Turner, my chest. You have a torn pec or whatever. But it's like saying my chest. It sounds like Les Miles describing him. Oh, does he have any chest? Like, what does that mean? Oh, my chest is hurting. Well, I can tell you, Peyton Turner showed up. He had 4 total tackles, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hurries, 2 tackles for loss, game ball for him. I thought Honey Badger, we might have lit a fire under Tyrann Mathieu. He came back strong. Now, I should have had a pick 6 at the end, and he knows that. He very seldom drops those kind of plays. But he came up with an interception, had 2 passes defended. And then Alante Taylor. Alante Taylor looks like he's a vet. No, like he just came out of college. That guy is going to be one of the best Saints players. Now, you got to stay healthy and all that. Now, he had 2 passes defended, but he's not. He has the swagger. You know, when Al was talking about having swagger, Alante Taylor has swagger. He's that confident because of his skill set and what he could do. So I think he's going to build upon that. And finally, we didn't talk to him about much. You know, a defensive line, except for Cam, now and then. But David Onyemata showed up. What we paying him? Like $10 million? Well, he played like a $10 million player today. David Onyemata, sack. 1 sack, 1 quarterback hurry, 1 tackle for loss, even the passes defended. And then Katavius Street and Cam ended up getting or sharing a half a sack. Cam had 2 quarterback hurries. Katavius Street tackle for loss, a quarterback hurry. They all contributed on the D-line. This is the kind of game we got to have. Remember I told you, not even this much. Remember I told you we got to have 3 sacks a game, not 1 or not none. Well, we had 4 today. We just got about 3 sacks. But I'll tell you, they packed to lunch. They came to play. The Raiders ain't even going back home. Their times were tough. They were all freaked out. They act like they went to England or something the way they were playing. They going from here to Sarasota and Tampa. They play Tampa Bay next.
No, they play Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville next?
Jacksonville.
No, it's Tampa Bay and Jacksonville.
They're just flying to that area to get in the time zone, and they can practice at IMG, and then they're going to fly up to play Jacksonville.
Well, okay, but IMG is by Tampa.
I know, but they're
so who's the schedule? Look at the schedule. Who is it? Jacksonville then Tampa, or Tampa and Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
And then it's Tampa.
I don't think they play Tampa at all.
Well, but the TV reporters weren't saying it right, Chris. You better be 100% because I was on top of this. Okay, if you're wrong because you interrupted, and you better be right. Okay. You can interrupt if you're right. If you interrupted and you're not right, you got to slow your roll. Come on, because they were saying that they were going to Sarasota at IMG, which is close to Tampa. And they were going to stay on the East Coast because they wanted to set up the schedule this way because they're leaving the West Coast.
Right here.
To go to New Orleans.
Sunday, November 6th, Raiders at Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
The following week,
Tampa.
Colts at the Raiders. The following week, Raiders at Broncos. Following week, Raiders.
So they go to the East Coast and they just play 1 game.
Correct.
After, I forgot, Christian, I'm sorry. Now, I was going by what Harlan, what's his name? Kevin Harlan was saying that it made sense to go to the East Coast. Yeah. So good job, Christian. You got to check me. You got to correct me when I'm wrong. I appreciate that. But again, the Raiders got humbled, and they're shocked. I'm telling you, the Raiders are as shocked as their fan base and a number of people that thought this game was like, oh, the Saints didn't really have a chance. That even Vegas didn't even that they were. It's a pick 'em game, 1.5.
Josh McDaniels, the head coach of the Raiders, was in the building when the Patriots waved the white flag and took out Tom Brady. He took out Derek Carr.
Derek Carr in the last drive. Right. Derek Carr was nowhere to be found at the end of the game. If you look at Stidham, he actually even attempted 13 passes.
Right.
To show you, he didn't go to hand off the ball and run out the clock. No, he actually attempted 13 passes to close out the game.
Bobby, one final stat for you. Devontae Adams, last 2 times he's lined up against the Saints defense, this is his total line. 6 receptions, 59 yards.
So the great Devontae Adams, who leaves Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to go to the Raiders, and I'm telling you, just look at his numbers, what he's done. It's been unbelievable in the NFL. Coming out of Fresno State, he was Derek Carr's teammate at Fresno State, but not against the Saints. And we put that whooping on him with Green Bay, and now this game.
Yeah, he's 6 receptions, 59 total yards.
And he don't want to play the Saints. Devontae Adams don't want to play the Saints. And he can't. Christian, what makes it more unbelievable is that our top cornerback didn't even play. Yeah. Marshawn Lattimore didn't even play this game.
Yeah.
And we're still able to shut him out.
Neither did Michael Thomas. Neither did.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So you have to look at where we're at going forward. We have the depth on this team. Now we just got to go do it and not shoot ourselves in the foot.
All right, we're just getting started here on the point after. Saints win and a shutout victory over the Las Vegas Raiders, 24-0. This is the point after here on the Community Coffee New Orleans Saints Radio Network.